Matin, gris. In the moments before waking, my mind struggles to identify the 10 grand themes that underlie all human art and list them in order of importance on a piece of 3-ring binder paper. It comes up quickly with death, but is scrambling over the rubble of a bombed-out building trying to locate the others when the pounding starts. I fly down the hall toward the front door, but am halted by reason. Just wind calling from off the water. In fact, it was my heart. When at last I manage to rouse my body, like hauling a child from a well, move to the window and part the drapes, a crow dashes across the lawn quite close to the house. Its wings spread like a trench coat unbuttoned. Beyond that, the frigid sea rushing toward the house, though it never arrives. Now the dream is breaking up, like shore ice in spring, and I have only the one word written down. While somewhere in my mind, a businessman runs to escape the downpour. I watch him from high above, newspaper over his head, now disappearing into one of the soaring, mirrored office towers of our time. Bonfire. The made-for-TV movie they showed in school about a mother and kids driving over a bridge in the sun to a rundown house and splashing each other with paint to music is coming true. Though the father there was dead, where ours is just killing himself slowly in another town. My new bed is from the Sally Ann. I spray the iron frame brass and am suddenly rich. Fold a blanket 3 times like a charm and place it over the springs that claw like fingers from the mattress. This is where I'll come to love geometry, discover modern poetry, and lose what we'll call my virginity. After a month, I look down, and my nails have grown. It scares me to think what I'd be now if she hadn't left then, to know what I am. A scorched girl, shame crackling under my skin. A strong man in a muscle shirt feeding my sleep with brush. We have no way of knowing when we're young, only a spark, maybe, that takes, then rages, keeps driving us toward the door of a rundown house, ourselves 20 years later. Struck, prepared to enter, standing behind a stroller before a wall-sized painting of Fire by Mary Pratt, warming our hands at the edge of art until fire becomes paint, becomes fire again, and our face grows hot. The gate. At 8, iron gates ease open as brown women arrive for work in skirts. In laundry rooms, they set down handbags, umbrellas, tie on aprons. They tidy their hair. By 9, appliances are humming, the bed stripped. By 10, the baby's napping in his stroller on the patio, inside that gleaming cage mopped daily by Carmen. His forehead dewy, fans stirring the soupy air. At noon, the world darkens, and rain falls like windows breaking. The joy is enormous, but over quickly. After, the garden drips and steams, and the afternoon is spent, wasted, in the hunt for fresh milk shipped in from Barbados, cumin seeds and shadow benny for the evening's curry. By 4, ice water too hot to drink, left in a plastic bottle in the truck. At 5, the heat lies down and we set out around the block. Carport dogs raise their heads, monitor our passing. Back at the gate, from 10 steps away, I press the remote enter swiftly behind the stroller, turn, and dark is there, a stranger over the wall. I hurry in, secure the deadbolts and the padlocks, fix myself a tall rum punch. With dinner, a glass of red. Another once the kids are in bed. Lights out, I part the drapes. Giant pearls, snails the size of tennis balls, adorn the lawn. Fat queens in trailing gowns. You are in Peru or Argentina. Carmen gone back up the starry mountain to her home. Now arm the system and count the beeps until we're safe. Squirrels in the attic of my chest, moth mind flitting around the green, beady eye of the panic button. Crossing the field. We push our way through wind, crossing the field to the neighbors to help kill roosters. The sky a white-capped sea. Later, the sinister chase, considered chop, long dip in boiled water. They are lean as November beneath their salt and pepper feathers, and us spattered by the end. Heading home after pumpkin bread and oily tea, plastic bag twisting as it bumps my leg, the heavy warmth. First snow laid out like cheesecloth over the hardened ground. I meet up with the right moment in my life. We nod as we pass. The faith of dogs. It's a muggy night in the village I grew up in, and the moon enormous as I ride my old bike toward the bones of my childhood home. The dogs are inside, and they have been eating it. The walls are gone, the cupboards in ruins, and in this realm of neglect, the two dogs are simply surviving, mouths red with splinters. Shepherds, it does not occur to them to leave. At first I am afraid, but a closer look tells me they are only family pets, once friendly, and capable of friendliness again. In another life, they chased balls and slept in sunlight. With the owners gone, a dim peace settles in the corners like dust. I realize the dogs believe someone is coming back for them, their faith unfathomable, lonesome as the sea. I get off my bike and approach what was the front door, the night world washed in moonlight, though all the neighbors sleep. A warm wind comes up behind me, and now the certain sound of a child falling from a window, and I must arrive before she hits the ground. How to be free. The summer I was 20, I ate my way through shifts at McGregor's pub, while my roommate slept her way through teams of mean young men, her mind a mess of Ayn Rand and Anais Nin. I loved her smarts and psychic gifts, but sadness destroyed our friendship. On the ferry back to the mainland at the end of August, I met a man too kind to touch me, though I practically begged. He saw through to what I really wanted and stood beside me at the railing as the sea rose and fell in heaving sobs. We hugged goodbye at the terminal in North Sydney, and boarding the Via train, I vowed to eat only apples the next 3 days, thereby losing 10 pounds by the time I reached home. By Halifax, I was living on coffee and Kit Kats again. All the way from Montreal, I could see Ontario waiting with its arms crossed. Finally free, and all you can do is let yourself go.